Hey winners, I'm your host KatFTWynn, and I am here with
River.
And we are continuing on with Ruby, Chapter 8. Last we left off, there was a bird creature that engulfed us in darkness.
Yep.
And we met back up with Tom. And we met Filbert, who was terrifying.
Yep.
Okay.
Kind of crazy.
A little bit. Let us continue.
The light fades from the room, and darkness envelops Ruby and Tom. It is a familiar and horrible kind of darkness. The unrelenting sound of moving water deafens their ears.
Feel around. Try to find the other.
Ruby and Tom grope blindly in the choking blackness to try and find each other. The sound of water is all about them, drowning out their cries.
Inspect with the third eye.
Ruby opens her third eye, and a guiding vision appears. Through the sounds of water, she hears a faint voice whispering, calling her onward.
Do they actually feel any water? They can still breathe fine and stuff, right?
The area is dry. They don't feel any water.
Have both Tom and Ruby try and find the rail. Start walking.
Ruby begins to follow the arrow. Tom continues searching for Ruby and finds the rail, following it. Ruby feels a set of stairs in the direction the arrow was pointing.
Tom, while following the rail, swing your manly fist through the darkness.
Tom swings his fist. Ruby feels something hit her foot.
Try to contact each other with the radios.
The sound of water is too loud to use the radios.
Ruby, stop! You're on the rail!
Ruby freezes. The sound of water begins to subside. The light suddenly returns in a crackling flash.
Ruby, get down from there. You'll hurt yourself. Tom, save Ruby.
Tom helps Ruby down from the railing quickly. The darkness seems to have passed, and the distant voice is gone.
Ruby, close your eye before it starts hurting and you faint.
Ruby closes her third eye, and again the two of them consider the door to Lab B. Ruby has a very strong feeling that before all of this is over, she'll have to go in there.
Hug Tom.
Tom politely explains he doesn't feel like hugging Ruby right now, given the footage they watched together a short while ago. That hug didn't end particularly well. Maybe they just need some time to trust each other again.
I see blood on one of those fan blades. Inspect it.
The blood on the fan is most likely a spot the cleaners missed after the accident Ruby made Stitches have in the fan.
Crowbar plus lock.
The lock is massive and sturdy. No way even Tom's manly physique could tear it down.
Check the plant again.
Ruby checks the plant, but it doesn't appear to be anything but a plant and some soil.
Check on Filbert together. Bully some answers out of him.
Ruby and Tom return to the previous room. However, something seems to have changed.
Examine that thing they're standing on.
It's the same severed foot from before, and Tom is gross for stepping on it.
Go inside. Check out everything.
Tom brings out the bludgeony cane shovel, and the two of them enter the room. But it appears empty.
Oh well, open those lockers.
There is a patient's stool in the southwest corner. It doesn't open. Against the north wall is, in what appears to be the examination portion of the room, there is some sort of metal footlocker, overgrown with fleshy protuberances. It resists Tom's attempts to open it, and two long fleshy growths seem to converge where the lock would normally be, reaching toward each other with a gap in between. The entire theme seems like an amalgamation of skin, muscle, and vein.
Check behind the poster on the wall.
The eye exam chart is bolted to the wall. It appears to be a permanent fixture.
Check inventory.
Ruby and Tom check their respective inventories.
Inspect the hatch thoroughly.
The keypad linked to the access hatch in the ceiling is a strange one. It has a digit lock, and a swipe card slot, and it appears to be lacking power. Strangely, it is connected to the hatch with both an electric and apparently organic cord. The fleshy cord reaches from one terminal to the hatch, as does an electrical wire. Crossing the electrical wire is a thin flap of burnt flesh and ash, which appears to be leading to the set of contacts on the access card reader. It seems rather complex. Whatever the case, the burnt flesh appears to be evidence that the two cords have trouble working well together.
Ruby, ask Tom where the scalpel she left him went. It could be useful to cut the fleshy growth.
Tom explains that he has added the scalpel to his leather pouch of medical implements.
Break open the cabinet with the bludgeony cane shovel.
One of the doctors probably had a tiny key to go with this lock. Tom's no doctor, but he's got the prescription for this medicine cabinet. After bashing the cabinet open, Tom finds a large jar of tranquilizer inside.
Tom, fill syringe with tranquilizer.
Tom fills his syringe with liquid tranquilizer. It's got several doses worth in there now. Still, he considers how much good it would do against a behemoth like Ace, should he show up again.
Inject the growths with the tranquilizer.
Tom and Ruby warily head back downstairs.
Yeah, great idea. Get the Cthulhu baby. What are you people thinking?
Feels like it skipped it.
Right?
No.
Okay.
Ruby removes the barbed wire from her rubber gloves and carefully removes the growth from the jar. Tom and Ruby return to the hall. Stitches is here.
Say hello. Ready your weapons.
Ruby's hands are full, and she has nowhere to put the large fleshy growth. She says hi. Stitches groans hoarsely and growls in response. Stitches lunges forward. His intentions are clearly hostile. He lets loose a pained moan as he staggers at Ruby, claws held high.
Ah!
Kill me.
Combo move. Run into the next room. Bait with Ruby. Trip with Tom. Syringe while he's down.
Tom and Ruby prepare for an elaborate maneuver. Ruby trips Stitches with her unattractively long foot. As soon as he falls, Tom pins him down using the strength of his manly physique and injects a healthy dose of liquid tranquilizer into his neck. Tom keeps Stitches pinned until, after a very nerve-wracking minute or so, he finally goes unconscious.
Loot Stitches.
Stitches is carrying a tiny key labeled medicine cabinet in tiny letters. Tom decides to leave it with him.
Put him in one of the lockers and close it then. If we're going to be hostile towards poor Stitches, the least we can do is keep him from wandering around the facility.
Tom shoves Stitches into locker number 5 and slams the door closed hard enough to jam it on the hinges. It's not much, but it'll do for now. It should keep him safe, and he should be out for a while with all the trank Tom used.
Give Stitches the group picture before leaving to investigate the growth.
Ruby slips the group portrait into a paper-thin gap at the locker's edge at the top. Stitches may appreciate it, perhaps. Tom and Ruby resume their original course of action and head back to the upstairs room.
Uh-oh.
Ruby places the fleshy growth from the jar into the gap between the other fleshy growths. Before Ruby's eyes, the fleshy growths grow together and coil into one another. The large fleshy mass Ruby placed onto the chest, now connected, begins to beat rhythmically, expanding and contracting with a soft, wet sound. A moment later, the lid of the locker opens up, not from the edge, but from the center, peeling itself open. From inside, Ruby retrieves a fleshy prototube, a bizarre organic item that somehow features an electrical contact panel on one end.
Ruby, lick it.
It tastes bad. There was a question mark. I think it's just gross. But...
Check if Tom tastes bad. Playtime is over. No more sticking strange things into your mouth. But Tom just finally got his pants off. Fix the keycard slot, attaching power and other connections carefully.
Tom cuts away the burnt flesh, and Ruby connects the fleshy prototube into the keypad's contact panel. It doesn't seem to do much by itself.
Attach knobbly bits to the sockets on the organic cable.
Connecting the fleshy prototube in that way would lay it over the charged electrical wire. That's probably how the last connection got burned.
Can you somehow use the gloves to insulate the wires and keep them from touching the flesh?
Genius! Ruby wraps the cord in her rubber gloves and connects the fleshy prototube, leaving both cords intact and connected. The key panel lights up, awaiting a 4-digit number.
Enter 0645. Ah.
Ruby punches in the code 0645, and the access card reader lights up.
Now use the keycard.
Tom swipes the high access card. That seems to have done the trick. The high security hatch on the ceiling recedes. The path upwards is open.
Have the red shirt go up first to investigate, and then, if it's safe, close the hatch behind you.
Ruby and Tom ascend to the floor above. Staff Wing 4, Staff Wings 1 through 3 to the left, Security Station to the right, Filbert to the left, Ace to the right.
Crack open the security station door and try to estimate how large the room is. It's going to be bad if we have to deal with 20 guards, or worse, 20 mutated guards.
Tom tries the security room door, but it is locked with a security keycard reader. Even Tom's high access card does no good here.
Explore Ace's room.
Ruby and Tom heads to Ace's quarters. Tom politely goes first. Ace's quarters appear rather starkly unfurnished.
Check Ace's bed.
Something is very disorienting about this room. The bed appears much larger than Tom originally thought. Tom finds a spade key tucked safely under Ace's pillow. Ruby and Tom return to the hall. Filbert's room is securely locked, and the security room needs a security card. Even Tom's high access card doesn't work here.
Go to the staff wings.
Ruby opens the door to the other wings. Ruby closes the door. Ruby decides not to go that way.
It must be Red's room. It's an elemental plane of teeth. Greet Mr. Door warmly. Mr. Door, murder, mother of God. Make sure Tom saw what we saw.
Tom says that if you saw a huge door lined with teeth leading into some sort of horrible abyss, then yes, he saw the same thing.
Use the crowbar on Filbert's office door.
Filbert's door is too sturdy to be bashed or pried open. Further, there is no answer from inside.
HP check. Re-examine Tom's eye. Lack thereof.
Ruby peels back the bandage on Tom's eye for a moment. Tom's wound seems to be doing rather well. It doesn't appear to be infected, and the earlier bleeding has stopped. He looks like he'll be fine.
Okay, put the bandage back on. Let's go to the lower levels.
Ruby and Tom head down one level.
Okay, we should refill the syringe with tranks and keep an eye out for that access card.
Tom tops off the syringe with liquid tranquilizer.
Back down to dummy room, checking that Red's room is still just rubble.
Ruby and Tom decide to begin the long trek all the way back to the dummy room. Ruby and Tom continue their trek. Still going, they head through the room Ruby woke up in. Now into the disappearing brig. Ruby and Tom finally arrive in the dummy room, though the dummy is still absent.
Check that wall painting with your third eye, Ruby. It might be important.
Ruby examines the room with her third eye. Something painful emanates from the painting, but it's hollow, distant, like an echo of something, memories of before. A second echo suddenly comes through, piercingly. It's small and it's just an echo, but it's still incredibly focused, overpoweringly potent. It hurts so badly, and yet it feels strangely good. It's a feeling that deep down, Ruby wants to feel forever.
So I says to Mabel, why don't you leave that switch alone? Wow.
Ruby recovers a little and wipes the blood from her third eye. Tom examines the clock-like device. It would appear the eye dial is missing.
Take the do not open sticker before leaving.
Tom grabs the do not open sticker for no apparent reason. Ruby and Tom take a long trek back to the catwalk outside Lab B, but those frames were lost on their way overseas, so let's just skip to their arrival.
Wear the do not open stickers on the chance that it may prevent someone from opening you.
Done.
Bamf. Put do not open sticker over third eye's eyelid. Put do not open sticker on Tom's fly. Apply the do not open sticker to the door. Open the door.
Ruby and Tom use the spade key on the lock to Lab B. The double doors slide open. Subject 6 rises from the pool of light. Subject 6's legs appear to have been amputated. His arms are long, thin, and end at bony points instead of hands. He lies in the center of the room, staring with empty eye sockets toward the door. His ears twitch slightly, listening. Is someone there?
Hello, this is
Ruby begins to speak, but the figure interrupts. I can't hear you, child. Come closer.
Fuck him. Speak louder.
Ruby speaks louder instead of entering the room. Subject 6 appears disappointed, a look of sadness crossing his face. He sits up, facing the door.
Ask his name.
The look of sadness disappears for a moment. His brow uncreases, and he smiles thinly. Don't you recognize me? It's me, Tom. The love of your life.
Check on Tom.
Tom appears as confused as Ruby. Subject 6 turns a bit, suddenly perking up his ears. Lucy? Lucy, is that you? I knew you'd come back to me.
Seriously, using the third eye sounds good right about now.
Ruby's third eye is in too much pain to open right now.
Yes, it's me, Lucy.
Lucy, I'm so glad you're here. I have something for you.
Get to the side of doorway, lean in, tell him to give it to you.
Approaching the door, Ruby realizes the room smells incredibly foul. Tom agrees. It's so noxious he can't even breathe it.
Tell him to come give it to you.
I can't move, Lucy. Please come to me. I'm so lonely here.
Tom, equip oxygen tank. Move in and take the key.
Tom starts to move in. Subject 6 does not react well. No, I said Lucy.
Ruby, approach and get the key, with the oxygen mask and gloved hands equipped. Warn him that she might sound a little different since she has to put safety gear on.
Ruby approaches slowly, holding the oxygen mask to her mouth to breathe safely. Subject 6 smiles again. Thank you. Ruby approaches Subject 6, who stares up at her with empty eyes. Ruby asks for the key.
Tom, feel around the entrance for a light switch.
Tom begins blindly groping just inside the door for a light switch, holding his breath. Subject 6 holds up the gold key. This will get you into his office. He has tools in his desk. Tom frantically searches for the light switch. Ruby is not responding to his calls. It's like she can't hear him. Tom places the gold key in Ruby's palm. Do me a favor while you're there. Can you bring me back scissors? Thank you. Tom finds the light switch. As Subject 6 begins to rise off the ground, Ruby beats a hasty retreat. Ruby exits the room, closes it, bars it, and locks it. Tom tries to comfort Ruby.
Screw the stupid recording where she killed you. Hug her. You're a gentleman and she's clearly distressed.
Tom tries to hug Ruby, but she bolts in the opposite direction of the lab. She clearly wants to put some distance between herself and Subject 6. Tom chases after Ruby, where he finds her unlocking the door to Filbert's office. Ruby opens the door and peers into Filbert's office.
Read note. Take screwdriver. Inspect desk for drawers. Do not use eye.
Ruby picks up the flathead screwdriver. On the wall, Filbert has mounted a framed copy of the Hippocratic Oath.
Rummage through the drawers in the desk and filing cabinet.
Ruby finds a few small scraps of paper in the drawer and decides to read them. Filbert, note to self, you have recurring amnesia. It's nothing to worry about. If you don't remember things, that is the reason. You are still clean. Don't ever doubt that. Someone notified my superiors that Red has not been taking his medicine. As per their instructions, I have ordered Ace to secretly begin treating Red's rations. One day he will thank me for this. November 8th. In keeping with the orders of my superiors, I have ordered Ace to euthanize subject number 2, Maddie. I do not falter in this action, for I know this is not murder. Subject 2 will return, and we will obtain further results. Ace does not falter either. He has always been loyal, unquestioning. With the proper anesthetic, she will not even feel pain. It is a great day. This is the last scrap of paper in the desk. There don't appear to be any other tools here, either.
Search cabinet drawers.
There are many bits of severed flesh in this drawer. It appears they have all been cut from something very cleanly, with great precision.
File under G for Gibbs. Filbert, you wacky man. Break open Oath's frame and see if there's anything under the oath is inside.
Tom totally wrecks the shit out of Filbert's stuff. The bad news is that it doesn't reveal any clues Tom can find. The good news is he felt pretty good doing it. The room appears pretty thoroughly searched. Tom and Ruby consider their next move.
Try Filbert's key on the security station. I'm sure he had access in there.
One is an actual key, the other is a magnetic card reader.
Use screwdriver to unscrew med lab eye chart.
Ruby heads downstairs with Tom. Ruby begins to unscrew the eye chart. Boy, this facility is just full of secret cubbyholes. Inside the hiding place, there is a shard of green wood.
To the locker room.
Ruby thinks back to the recess on locker number 3. There's no way she has the complete key yet.
Unscrew the vent.
Ruby and Tom exit and walk to the adjacent room. Ruby begins unscrewing the vent.
Don't do that. Wasn't there poison in there?
Uh-oh. A now familiar face shows up on the monitor.
Tom, I get it. You were going to say you're trapped, or some trite little villain's commonplace, aren't you? No such luck. You're the one that's trapped. Trapped in your obsession, bound to your 2 little playthings, feeding and washing and slavishly cleaning up after what are supposed to be pets. You don't run this game. There's no referee. It's a game of life, and in your conceited, pathetic, small-minded way, you just lost.
Is that from Batman?
Probably.
Oh. And a moment later, the alarm suddenly clears. There's something inside the vent. Ruby grabs it. Ruby retrieves the security access card from the vent.
To security room. Plot advance.
Filbert arrives. Filbert announces in a rough and gravelly voice that he is going to cut the bad out of both of you until you are as clean as he is.
Well, with that knock, and now that we are done, we will see you guys in the next episode. Last part, Chapter 9. So keep winning at life, guys.
Bye.
Bye.